introduced, well, it pretty much took a style of gameplay like number 4 did. Each character is going to have their own ability for a while. Except everyone can learn magic.
Everyone?
Everyone. Every time you got a summon, you equip it to a character for a leveling bonus. However, every time you do that, each one also came with a list of spells that you can learn at a certain rate. Thereby, everyone at some point in the game can learn how to use magic. Thereby breaking character, what's the word?
Character development?
Character roles?
Yeah, character class or... Yeah.
Would this
It
be
kind of
where the
breaks
infamous
the class.
material system comes about? Quite possibly, yes.
Quite possibly
Actually,
the
that
basis
sounds
for it.
more like Final Fantasy VIII.
We'll get to that in a second.
The
But
basis of both.
you
However,
also
each character also does have their own role. Given as you saw, the character is Sabin, the martial artist with its blitz commands, Satan inputs, and Cyan, the sword master with the sword attacks, which are 8 different levels depending on how you charge. And all you feel like waiting
And
for
of
it.
course, one of my personal favorites, Terra's Esper form. Fuck yes. And that point,
Yeah.
she just becomes this epic sorceress of death.
And Edgar, with his tools, can cut anything down, and is so abusable for the first third of the game.
Yeah, he was kind of a pansy. He died in half my parties. I didn't kill my own party. I
Right.
couldn't stand that.
Oh, and who can remember the thief? The thief.
His name is Steve.
What came up with it?
Bob, the thief.
Oh, okay.
Oh, another thing I should mention. A couple others. Oh, they borrowed a few names from a few revolutionaries.
Oh, but of course. Not the thief. Oh wait, he's not a thief. He prefers to be called the treasure hunter.
But
It makes him feel better about himself inside. I think. It makes him feel less like a thief.
It makes him feel like less like an asshole. I mean, what? He was, in fact, a very awesome character, though. Without him, Terra would have died at least once that I know of.
Oh, totally.
The scene in the caves, pretty much. But the Muggles, we should mention that.
The Muggles make their first appearance. Yay! Cute little white creatures.
Cute
With a
little.
little thumb on their head at the end of the stalk.
You'll see them a lot more in 13 and 13-2.
And 12.
Nine.
And 9, which was huge.
And then 1 in 7. But we'll get into that.
Oh,
It-
Mog?
1 Mog.
Mog was different. He wasn't
It,
true.
it was definitely different.
Well, the actual Moogle the only one that deserves to get a name that will stick throughout the ages.
The problem I run into there is mostly that, quite frankly, Mog and the Muggles were two completely different.
They were.
The Mog is just a giant Moogle, like the Jumbo Cactar, which we will get into.
It wasn't even a giant Moogle. It was literally it was just a mechanical device that a robot rode on.
Oh, what's even better, you could actually consider Kigzip the little red pom-pom. He did have a furry little animal riding on his head.
He did. But let's have it finished sex and then we can get into that.
Yeah.
You guys seem to be really anxious to start getting into that.
Oh, fucking no.
I could tell.
Half of our viewers are probably going to be screaming and commenting that we are all terrible people when I'm done with that game.
Already am terrible. They're probably already commenting that by now.
If they're still
Everything
watching
else
this
is
at all. Oh.
That was sad.
Yeah,
Post editing will be so much fun.
I bet.
And by post editing, I mean this whole thing is just going up as it is.
Perfect. But
So you think. So you think.
finish your final thoughts on 6?
Best bad guy ever.
Best bad guy ever, and possibly one of the best gameplay systems in the classic games.
Actually, yeah, because this will mark the end of the classic series.
It was after this game that, quite frankly, the games took a drastic turn, for better or worse, depending on which of the two factions you stand on.
That's
Yeah.
true.
There are the traditionalists that refuse to play any game after this point, citing the whiny emo characters, the terrible subplots.
Hey, I've actually played 7, 8, 9, 10.
So that's my specialty, and that's why I'm,
I'm not
here.
saying you
Both of you
refuse-
don't know anything about 9.
Only because I never owned a copy of it. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our thing with Final Fantasy VI and Final. It was probably, to this day, if some of the sites might take a poll on it, it still stands to this day one of the best-selling games in the series.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's also going to hold the record of one of the buggiest games ever in the Final Fantasy series.
Only because of
Ever.
any SNES.
No, it's because they didn't know how to program. Okay, you want to know how these bugs worked? Here's a book. If you try to make any charge stick against me without me being able to lie, cheat, steal, talk my way up, etc., etc. Oh, by the way, your manual, vaporware.
I'm confused.
The way that the bugs and the glitches that people have found in this work shouldn't even work in the first place, so why do they still have it?
Because it's
For programming.
They assume a lot of it is blamed on the fact that they just left it programming and coming in bytes for people, or for characters went out to a computer with this SNES architecture.
And that was the same problem you got with the Zelda games on the SNES too, as well. No? Just
Well,
glitches? Glitches?
The ones that you actually had to try for? Yeah.
The ones that I've seen you exploit countless times.
Yeah, you actually have to try to do that.
We should actually do videos on glitches too. If the angry video in there can beat us to it.
We'll put it on the list.
Yeah, put it on the list.
So
So,
that's like,
Should we start actually writing a list out?
I'm too lazy.
yeah, we're not lazy, we're just
So-
busy.
Oh, lazy.
Buggiest, for better or worse. It can be quite entertaining.
Story-wise, it was
but
probably one of the best.
It was one better. It was a more interesting one. The fact that they truly split it with the time, the fact that it takes about 2 years in-game to finish it, and there are 2 complete different worlds
Oh,
to go through.
sounds familiar. Yeah.
13 different characters they can go through. Not just class change, but actually 13 different characters or so.
13.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
All
yeah.
the side quests, and once again, the fact that the bad guy is how a bad guy for a game should be. He
Murderous.
wanted to have some fun, so he poisons an entire town. It's water supply.
Oh, who here hasn't done that? Yeah.
Okay, then.
Well, let's
moving
get to
on.
know our camera person has done it.
Eric, you're up.
Quick disclaimer. I do not believe it's the Final Fantasy VII is the greatest Final Fantasy. I believe it's overhyped. And, well, just saying that so people don't think I'm just defending it because I'm a rabid fanboy. Take it away.
Seconded.
Third. And
You?
two. I'll admit, this game did a lot for this series. It's the first to use fully rendered 3D environments and character models. It was also one of the most expansive games to date, spanning over 3 separate discs with one of the most memorable casts of characters you will ever meet in a Final Fantasy game. Cloud, simple hero, soldier, pretty much just another noble soul, okay. With a dark past, dark history, your love interest returns once more in the form of both Tifa Lockhart and Grace Gainsborough, Aerith. Thank you. The game is overhyped and, quite frankly, not really the best way to do it. 10 seconds. Yep.
Like that.
You get one of the most idiotic casts of characters I have ever seen. Apparent in both the Advent children's games as well as a little bit in Crisis Core, but not so much because at least Zack had a fucking personality. Cloud is just another whiny emo kid. Vincent, another character with a dark past. Barrett, finally a character with a decent story cut out in disc 1.
Wait, a black man in a video game?
I'll get there in a second. Vincent, Cloud, the two characters everyone loves, and quite frankly, I could go to the local high school and see some kid sitting and crying in the corner. Hey, look, it's Cloud. Now, it sounds terrible, but quite frankly, the characters in this game were not as memorable as some of the ones I've seen in earlier games, and as well as later games, especially in 9. We'll get to those back in a moment. What's up? Oh yeah, 9. And then Sephiroth, okay, I'll admit, good villain. But once again, his only purpose was to give our hero a reason to fight. Why? Because he needed a reason to get off his ass and stop whining. Okay, here we go. And yeah, I'm about done ranting. I just had to get that out there. I hate this game with a fiery passion for the reasons that it is overhyped garbage. Much to Spoonie's hatred of 8, 10, and 10-2, I pretty much despise that. Mostly because the storyline is weird. The story was weak, yes. The whole stop Sephiroth, save the world, okay.
It's been done a lot.
Several times. The hero's journey. In essence, for those of you unaware of this, introduce hero, face hero with some world-changing event or consequence. Hero turns around and saves the world. All the time.
Hey, isn't that every Final Fantasy game?
At least some of them didn't make it as a yeah.
Questionable.
I'll stop the video here because quite frankly, grant music are supplied by the Black Mages and none other than the man himself, Uo Uematsu. And once again, most of what I just said is opinion. I am not saying in any way it was a bad game, but quite frankly, it was not, as most players will say, God's gift to gaming.
No.
They can shove it up their own ass for all I care. And with that, we actually get into the review.
Oh, we've crossed into Spoonie territory.
They don't
How
know.
many times now?
But anyways, my argument here is you said Sephiroth was only there to give Cloud a reason. That's not true. He had his own backstory. Granted, I'll say it wasn't an amazing backstory.
But
It was there. It was more or less a god complex with a bit of an Oedipus
Mother complex?
complex. But then again, he thought he was the daughter of some kind of ancient being.
Well, ways genetically.
It was just cells inserted in, but not the point. The point being, he found out everything he was raised to know was basically a lie, and he was just a lab experiment.
True.
And that's what caused him to go insane.
Okay, I'll give
Yeah,
it.
just because the first 33 years of his life is just a lie. Why would that ever drive you
The
insane?
most
Yeah.
of the problem I have with that character comes with Advent Children.
Yes,
And
right,
some of the
but
later-
we're ignoring those.
Yes.
Ignore that for now. Focus only on
In
the
that aspect, yes, the character of Sephiroth was, albeit weak, and once again, to the creators, it was just to give the main protagonist a reason to go out and fight. But the character himself was well developed, yes.
Well, the reason why he went on file was because he felt it was his fault he didn't finish him off.
Oh, and let's not forget that Sephiroth destroyed his hometown.
Fire and everything.
Yay! Fire!
Orchids!
Oh no, at this point it went to team.
Oh, yeah. So, orchids!
Sort of. Pretty best. Well,
T rating means jack shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
right. It's not till they hit M rating.
yeah, the people care. But anyways, he felt it was his fault all this happened because he didn't protect them. Granted, I'm not gonna lie, the merged memories with Zach bullshit.
And you know, the whole I'm going to whine about it for 20 minutes and make tea for the main character for a minute. Yeah, that was kind of bad.
Yeah.
And not to mention his clues.
The big thing was the side characters in this game. Well, not Tifa as much. But the rest.
Tifa had a good story.
Had a good story, but not really big on.
Most of her backstory didn't come up until later. We're not getting into that now. Move along.
Not that great. Vincent, a very interesting backstory when you look into it. It deals directly with Sephiroth's birth. It's a love triangle. It's very emotional, but it hadn't been touched upon in other sources. But again, not going into that territory. Probably the weakest of the side characters would be Yuffie. She doesn't really have much.
Only because she was not meant to be part of the main story.
Neither was Vincent.
Yeah.
But Vincent was awesome.
But again, neither was Vincent.
That's true. And as much as I rip apart his dark past, that's more on the fact that the story writers, the character himself, very well.
The last I heard was ripping apart, but you were
Yes.
ripping
It wasn't
apart.
ripping apart the character. It was more. Here's where I can see the writers taking partial dives. They mostly, as much as I hate to say it, I've ranted about Kingdom Hearts on this too. They go more so away from the well-written story to let's throw in some flashy cutscenes and a bunch of bishies and call it a game.
Well, he wasn't even in any of the cutscenes because he was a secret character that you could not possibly not get.
Until they're disservice.
Yeah, again,
Once
later
again.
games. We're
Yes.
focusing on 7, don't forget.
Yeah, it's true. And we're not really going to talk too much about the spin-offs right now.
Another video.
Another video when I can actually sit down and
To the list.
do it properly.
Thank
I
you.
do have a copy of Dirge of Cerberus. I have finished it. We'll talk about that later.
Ditto. We'll get on that another day. But anyways,
7, as much as I dislike the sensationalism and all the fanboys crying out that if you don't like 7, you are the spawn of Satan, it was a good game.
it
I
was a
gotta
good
ask,
game.
why is it that, why?
Why is it?
Why?
Because
Well,
7 was
you
the
know what?
most accessible to the market.
Also, it probably was like some people's first Final Fantasy game. So it may have a nostalgia. Because I'm not gonna lie, my first one was Final Fantasy 9, and that's easily my favorite.
And
Is it nostalgia? I don't know, but nonetheless, 9 is also the highest rated of them all. It is.
6 was actually rated pretty
Yeah.
high up there too.
9 was 94.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6 is, I think, the close second.
6 was second at like 92.
And actually, 4 was third or fourth.
Yeah. But anyways,
But yeah.
continuing on.
But yeah, 7, story-wise, it's very sound. The gameplay is what truly sets this game apart. This was probably the only saving grace for this title in any form, was the fact that the gameplay held up and held up well. The actions time, the action-based time battle,
ATB
the
was.
ATB,
Active time battle system.
I can't remember, no, my brain.
Yes, we know it happens to you often.
But the ATP system makes its return, as well as the first use of the infamous limit break.
Though it
Yeah.
was not the first usage. It was under a different name. What was it? Desperation Attack?
Yeah, for 6.
Yeah.
Of course, you can exit
Yes.
any easily, but
Compared to
Yeah.
7, it
This
was.
was the first actual use of a set system for activating the limit break.
once again, no.
No.
180 your max HP sets you in desperation mode, which gives you like a
Oh.
25% chance or something like that of unleashing their special attack.
Much
which is
like
also like
Final
limit
Fantasy 8.
Oh, okay. In
But-
this one, it was the first time you
break.
got
Limit.
branching.
Saw
limit
it.
breaks.
Easily.
And this was also the first time you got like multiple limit breaks as well.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That was a good system. I really enjoyed it. Granted, I will say having them all basically level up the same, using it a certain amount of times and then killing so many creatures.
It got kind of tedious, but it was very well executed.
But throughout the game, you will be killing enough enemies anyway.
Yeah,
Or you
so it's not that.
I mean, I had one or two where I had to grind a few times to get from level 3 to
Yeah,
level
but once
4.
you have that attack all materia, and you just get the group of 5, like 3 to 5 really weak things, it just goes like that.
Oh,
That's
materia.
I was trying to do it earlier. In the
And materia, something I actually hate about Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I can't wait until we get to 8.
I'll go off
Because
of that.
There's such a comparison that it
I'll-
can't be
Oh,
made.
is that when we get the battle of the fanboys going here?
I'll nerd rage on that later.
So with 7,
I hated materia because I love the class-specific characters.
yeah.
I really like the difference between them. And unless you place your materia in a certain way, all your characters can be basically the same. And I hate that. It takes away from the characters, and it basically forces less individuality in battle and less chance of needing to really think tactics. Where if you're limited to, well, okay, only this character
One
can
healer,
use
one fighter.
who's healing. You know, but there's a few others that can do healing but not as effective. It makes you have to plan things more.
And in their defense, certain characters, and they've done this in later games
Yes.
as well, certain characters were built more for certain roles.
Oh yes, I
Like
do know
Ares
that.
was built to be a mage.
Yes.
Barrett
Yes.
was built to be your tank. Lay him down with materia and see what happens. He dies. Defeats the purpose of having it.
But yes, they were made to be that way. But nonetheless, you could go through the game, loading everyone with materia, be just fine.
All you would have to do is plan it out.
Yep.
Screw that, all you need is Final Attack Phoenix together.
Yeah, right. What you really need is just Knights of the Round.
Oh, yeah.
W Magic,
W
Mine, Knights of the Round.
Yep.
W Summon, that's it.
Also, the one that gives you the use something right away when battle starts.
Oh, yeah.
You like junction that with Knights of the Round, happens right away in the battle.
And then the rest of the party picks it up.
Yep. Then a
That's
couple
like-
mines, just keep going.
And don't forget W Summon. Oh dear gods.
But nonetheless, but summons, that was very different in this game, where it's actually just material that summons the monster, and that's basically it.
Unlike-
Not that different than from number 6, whereas Magicite Materia, what's the difference?
No, I didn't play 6, so I can't say.
Okay.
Yeah, in this game, once again, you are equipping the summon to your character. Materia.
Oh, they can equip multiple summons, as many
Yes.
as you felt like putting on, so that was
As many as slots you have in a weapon.
without dying.
Unlike
That's
6.
it. Yes.
Something I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I noticed that 7, you could see a visual change in weapons, like
Yes.
Cloud's Buster Sword. That is something I liked. I'm not sure if it
The
happened.
characters did
Hard to
change.
do in 4 and 6 because
Yeah.
you once again had to watch the 2-second attack animation
You
with a
just see
couple of
it
frames.
making weapon, and yes, the actual model for the weapon might be different.
But you really don't see it. That was something I liked. The graphics were a big step because they switched to a CD instead of just a cartridge.
And once again, 3D rendered environments, the first of its kind in
Now-
the series.
No, pre-rendered.
Pre-rendered?
Yeah. Not great, but it started. It was the beginning. It set things down to get ready. They were working on realism.
I mean,
And it obviously carried on to the
And
next
a massive
game.
3D overworld, kind of.
yeah.
It was the first game of the series to do that. I mean, some say it was the first of its kind. I doubt it.
That one could be a toss-up.
That could be.
It could have been any
PlayStation
game.
hasn't been out for that long though either.
No,
so-
it hasn't. So
It
it
was
could
a
very
long-
easily have that.
Well,
But
the 64 as well.
toss-up. Like I say, I can't say anything definite.
Visual boy did it better. No. Not touching that. Okay.
All right, let's see. Music
Not, but
jumped
huge.
at this point.
Hands
Huge.
down, one of the best soundtracks of the bunch.
Yep.
One Winged Angel was probably one of the best tracks you will ever find in a Final Fantasy game, next to Eyes on Me, with Kali, and a few others from a game which I dare not mention at this time.
Man, I must be a classic fanboy. I mean, I prefer most of the Final Fantasy IV soundtrack.
Oh, I'm not saying I
Oh, no,
don't.
it's not bad. It's
I'm not
just,
saying I don't, but
you got a
after
much
the-
wider variety
After
because of
the
the space.
first game on the NES, sadly, I didn't touch them again until 8.
But then again, when you're going from 8-bit system to a MIDI to
6-bit
10, no, that was the MIDI format.
Okay.
A slightly bigger range, but still limited to SNES architecture. So the ability to have full orchestral tracks in
Still not
3
that
years.
great, but still very good.
It's
3 years.
that's a huge jump in technology.
Touche.
That was really
Full
big.
length
And,
audio tracks built into the game.
I'm forgetting, 7 came out about 97.
Yep.
yes.
And even to this day, the technology isn't that outdated, in my opinion. It looks and plays very well.
A lot of people
the
probably bitch
graphics.
about the polygons.
Yeah.
Oh,
The graphics
well,
can be
they're
up-
kind of blocky. Oh, well.
The graphics could be updated, but really, it was the
And
first.
now I remember what bothers me about that game. I'm sick of the fanboys crying for it.
Yeah.
It's dead, it's finished, let it lie. They can make all the spin-offs they want, I might not buy them. They can make an upgraded version of one of the earlier games, I'd probably buy that. But, fuck 7, never again. I have the original, that's all I need.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be pretty good if they changed some things, but again, I have to really think about it because they could make some very detailed areas.
And they could make the story a little deeper, add some
Yeah.
other developments, and actually make sense of some of the things the later titles did.
Yeah.
So that's Final Fantasy VII.
Not a horrible game, but definitely not the greatest.
And now,
I like how you guys are actually really being nice and not trying not to start arguments over 7. And just trying to give it, okay.
I just presented my opinion. Our fans are probably going to hate me for it.
Oh,
We have probably
You know,
about
some
the
of
same thoughts of this. to 7.
You were nicer about it, though.
Oh, yes.
I just came out saying, fuck this game.
Well, I like 7.
it was okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's what
didn't
Legend of
hate
Heroes-
it, I just hate
Yeah.
what it has become. Because
Okay.
the game itself was fine. It
Yeah.
wasn't until Advent Children and all the countless remakes that the shitstorm started.
Yeah.
You know, everyone started playing 7 again after Advent Children because Kadaj was, most female players thought Kadaj was hot. And
Yeah.
decided to play the game to figure out what the fuck he came from. And it was like, oh, it's the best game ever. No, it's not. Play a real Final Fantasy game if you want to do better.
But Kadash was an Advent Children only character.
True. But, you know, that was their first exposure to it. Oh, he's cute. I want to play this game now because it looks awesome. You know, that was the focal point.
Well, also, let's not forget, that's
Then you
the
would-
game they played.
Huh?
That's the first Final Fantasy game they played.
There are some that thought that too.
Yeah.
But I've seen one or two that their first exposure to the series was Advent Children. Who's that guy? He's kind of cute. Oh, yeah. And then
He's
you
gay.
explain it for
Hey.
his mother.
Yeah. I didn't say everything was perfect.
Someone texting me. And yeah, that was part of 7.
All right.
Actually, but how the chocobos changed though too.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, the Chocobo! Should we talk about that? Yes, yes. One of the
Now we actually have chocobo races and different colors.
and one of the most annoying side quests ever.
What, breeding?
Yes.
Chocobo inbreeding.
Cletus Petro. Oh God, I gotta find that video now.
No.
Two of
Come
them.
on. We got explanations done in.
We got time.
I got an hour.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember, I have to be out.
Okay, this one's literally like 30 seconds. But this will explain the Chocobo thing better.
The Newgrounds.
Yeah.
Via VG Cats.
You probably want to turn up the volume. Or not.
No, it's not.
Same song they'll use for all the trap. It's a turd!
Have sex, damn it!
The voice acting is terrible, but this explains it very well.
What are you doing?
You're supposed to give them a C.
I'm reading Chocobos. What's it look like?
It looks depraved, if you ask me. Hey, let's just go play Sephiroth.
And here's why this is like this.
Or not, you bitch.
Don't ever call me again.
Yes, ma'am.
Except for the fact that Ares is dead at this point in the game, this is
Not
like...
always.
Huh?
Now, I'm going to mentally blame people to control version. When exploiting family lines, or breathe off the air, then harness the power of the resulting force of their fast reaching ability across any land.
Explains it fairly well.
So, you're getting freak chocobos through any breeding?
Well, I would be if they just have sex already.
I apologize for the terrible voice acting. I couldn't find a better version.
So, what do you do with the ones that don't?
I apologize for the horrible voice acting, but that is chocobo breeding in a nutshell. Inbreeding freak chocobos to make more freak chocobos.
That was the only way to get to the best summon.
Yes! You did not need any of this to finish the game.
Of course not.
It made the final fights with Sephiroth, as well as... Do we mention the other three characters as well?
What are the first?
Three major bosses.
Oh, the weapons.
Yes. There were 2 weapons in the finished version of Final Fantasy VII in Japan.
No, there were.
The other 2 were only in the North American release.
Really?
Yes.
Take a word on it.
I'll take your word on that.
Diamond Weapon and Ultimate Weapon only released in the Japanese cut of the original Final Fantasy VII.
I can believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Ruby and Emerald Weapon were added later.
What, the US didn't get shunted?
This was about the time Japan started to fucking care about us.
Yeah.
So, you get 2 of the hardest boss fights in any game I've ever seen.
Until 8.
No.
No,
Yeah.
Omega was easier, according to Eric, apparently.
Hey, I beat him the first time, no problem.
Lucky.
Granted, I completely broke it by using Renoa, Zell, and Squall, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
We'll get into the trick I did later.
But yeah, Ruby,
Yep.
only because his quicksand attack could kill your party almost instantly.
The key here was you had to fight with only one character. So that's what made it hard.
And you could revive the other 2.
And
I
then,
think just one out of that.
and then the Emerald Weapon, they had 2. You had a time limit,
Which can be...
which can be circumvented with a materia.
Yeah.
And then it has an attack which does 1,111 damage times the amount of materia you have equipped it.
To that character?
Yes,
Huh.
So a maximum of... Oh dear
A lot.
lordy.
a lot. Basically, you were pretty much screwed in these fights.
Yeah.
Unless you came really, really
And
prepared
this is where Chocobo breeding comes into play.
to get that ultimate summon and help make these
Master
easier.
Materia, Ultimate Summon, Knights of the fucking Round.
Which, by the way, is a bitch because he can't skip the summoning screen.
Yeah!
2.5 minute summon video. Every time!
There's worse.
There it is.
Sephiroth's final attack.
Yeah, but at least then he gets to see the whole galaxy destroyed.
Yeah.
But that's still like a 5-minute video!
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, with that was Final Fantasy VII in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I mean, we're rushing it a little bit here because we're kind of strapped for time.
Yeah. Just,
we're not doing too bad. We just have to
But-
keep focused.
That was the gist of 7. I'm not saying it was a bad game. I apologize for the early rantage.
oh.
I don't.
Didn't think you would hate on.
It was a good game. Don't get me wrong. Just please stop with the fanboy bullshit. And with that,
By the way, just so you know, there are means to track you down, both online, through snail mail, phone calls, etc. Please go ahead and threaten us.
Well, do we really need to threaten the fans?
No, we're not threatening, we're warning.
We're warning.
There's
that
a
the fans
big
threaten us.
key difference.
Touche. So, now we get into my favorite game of the bunch, as well as Steve's.
One of my favorites, yes.
Yeah. And, you know, you're only dressed as the main character.
Well, you know. Why not? I mean, it's so easy. All I have to do is just find a good enough costume for it, and act completely antisocial, and not give a shit about anybody but myself.
Yeah.
And never talk.
Exactly.
But you're talking.
Shush. Who didn't say it was perfect? And here we get into Final Fantasy.
Oh,
Eight.
I don't know the first time I saw this video at my friend's house.
Since you first time was fine.
Oh, yes.
Click that mouse. Click it.
Why?
Click it.
Wait, maybe be a man and click the dislike button, or be a man and stop the video now?
Be man, click the dislike. Haha. Sucks to be you.
And the reason I bring up the actual cutscenes is mostly because of, as you can see, we'll get into the technological aspect here.
There was a jump in technology, but
First thing you notice, no more pixels.
okay, hold on. No. Final Fantasy VII didn't have pixels in its cutscenes.
Not in its
They
cuts.
had, but they also had fewer ones.
The blocky textures were no more.
Oh, there were blocky textures in this game. They were just a lot smaller. It was
This is-
nowhere near that good.
I guess it wasn't until 9 that they finally smoothed it out and really perfected it.
It was a little rough, but it was a lot better, and you could definitely tell that's what they were trying to do.
It's just, in this game, everything was absolutely,
Not
despite it all, the actual cutscenes were gorgeous.
Yes,
At the
That it
time.
looks better, yes.
I will say
That
that.
the in-battle character models that they had for 7 are now the main models that they're able to use for Overworld and everything else.
Very
Okay,
well.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they were nicer. The bodies were more proportional.
Yeah.
And also one thing most people, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but there are rumors that also the main character was modeled after a certain Japanese pop star who may or may not have done the theme song for the original Dirge Service. Just saying. Not confirmed.
You mean the Immortal Gads?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody actually said that the character model was made to look like him. I don't know if this is true. Just a rumor.
It's hard to confirm.
Resemblance there slightly.
Yeah.
Well,
He also did offer he actually did offer his resemblance to Genesis in later games as well.
That is true. That is true. But the man is fucking crazy, so.
Yay!
back to the game.
So to the game itself.
What the fuck?
We'll get there.
Three quarters
in a
through the
minute.
story.
We'll
And then I
get,
agree with you.
we get there in a minute.
I go about that.
About the time
That's
you,
true, that
about
is
the time you fight a day the second time.
What do you mean, after the end of the Ward of Gardens?
After they
I
when
did
they
just
get
before.
when they get into the reasoning behind that. Well, yeah, when a day becomes crazy. Yeah. It's like, why is this bitch so crazy? Why does she want to see dead? Yeah, that's about right. Because I had no idea why the two factions were fighting other than Hideo wanted C dead. And other than the fact that you tried to kill her in Disc 1, there's no other reasoning behind it.
Hey, you were paid for it.
It's true.
You still tried to kill a bitch with magical powers. She's going to come and cut you down.
And then
I
Chicken
should've
was
died.
told them everything.
Hmm?
Then Chicken was declared on TV where they were from.
It's true.
It's true.
Fucking chicken
So.
I have to say, not very good characters in my opinion.
One thing I did like in this game, though, is that your main rivalry in this game, unlike Cloud and Sephiroth, wasn't your main antagonist.
Okay, I'll give you that.
He technically could have been. Very well. Like the beginning of the game, you see the two of them fighting it out, ready to kill each other. That could have been your final encounter. I would have been happy. And should we get the Spoonie video? No, not right now. We'll add that later.
I think we could do it in enough time without Spoonie.
Gay,
As much as I like it,
gay, anal sex, gay. Plug.
You get the two of them ready to kill each other.
Oh, come on, we know they're both gay and just want to do each other. Come on, fight or
If
flight.
not for the ending of the game, I would agree with you. If not for the romantic love story that
Rule 34.
any fanfiction site will have yaoi fix, but that doesn't make it canon. Thank you, sir.
Stop talking for 3 fucking seconds! Every second.
The backstory
It may be
there,
classic, but goddammit, I can.
that may have been our final boss encounter, and I would have been happy. Quite frankly, it's a recurring boss encounter, similar to Gary in the Pokemon series.
Yeah.
Gary might actually put up a challenge.
Cypher did too in the second or third round. If you didn't have Odin, the third round.
No, if you knew what the fuck you were doing throughout the whole fucking game.
Yeah,
Well, true.
no problem.
Like, Cypher's still kind of a challenge if you come up to him without junctions, without...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then how the
If
hell
you're
did you get
nifty.
through that game?
If you're nifty.
Okay.
You won't make it out that far.
And if you also, I've seen some people for challenge just fight Cypher sword to sword. Because they want to actually test his mettle against Squalls. Which is
Okay.
cool,
Yeah.
but you're an idiot.
But nonetheless, you can still beat him that way. It's not hard. I've done that before.
You just need a little bit of magic for healing purposes.
Nope, didn't need it.
God damn.
Drew Carbuncle or whatever. Whatever that player.
Yeah. And...
But, moving on.
Yes, and the love interest in this story was a lot more, unlike...
Cock tease.
Oh, come on!
Argue against it.
I never had the power to say that, sir. Thank you.
Only because the last time we talked about this was on syndicated radio, and we fucking couldn't.
That was, she cock tease, cipher, or theater, whatever. Whatever. Don't give a damn.
Selfie and everybody were able to.
Emo get two.
Yeah.
You know, get
Of course, him. Sorry, Angsty get. So Angsty guy was first. Why? I don't know. I don't know how she found out about him, why she was looking for him at the dance.
They actually explained that later in the game, I think, they explained that he was actually the one to introduce her to headmasters.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
So it was thanks to him that the Timber Owls
Got it.
got her.
Yeah, okay, fine. Nonetheless, cock tease. He was trying to impress her, and she just used him. Then, when Squall was around, how does she go about
You're the
it?
nicest looking guy here. Dance with me. Oh god.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, when they were working, well, it says protect me until the mission is over. The mission's not over yet.
Nope.
So, you should
protect me and you do my
I
every
got
whim
for sake
for the rest
everything
of the
else.
goddamn game.
Well, there were. In her defense, the reason why his mission with her never ended was because, quite frankly, before they could fucking get Galbadia out of Timber, was to destroy the sorceress dad and Ultimacia.
Which is just a lot of bullshit. There at the end of the game. I
It
mean,
does-
come the fuck on. You go through the entire game just to cause what you were trying to stop. Telling Dea, take Ultimacia into your body. So that we can do this entire thing all over again and screw everything up.
Where did we
Instead
see
of
that happen
killing
before?
it.
But you can't. Because the sorcerer can't go to rest until her powers have been passed on to someone else, or else she has
But then
to live
again,
eternity
when you bring
in
up that
Half-Life.
story plot, I answer with this. The original Final Fantasy.
They ended it. They cut it off.
Yeah.
What is there to does the ending of 8 actually show present day Idea taking in Ultimacia, or does it show Matron back at the orphanage as they were all children taking back Ultimacia?
As children, obviously, thus causing the start of the game later on.
But the first game fucking did that already. So all
But
that
not
was,
at the end.
you're a Doctor Who fan and you don't understand this. All that was doing was resetting the cycle. Anything that happens must happen as
No,
is.
the first game breaks the cycle.
That's what you're doing. That's what happens at the end.
That is the end of the first game.
But
Breaking the
It makes
cycle.
sense to me though. Like after they defeated Ultimacia, there is peace. Fine. The game at that point ends.
Fine, yes, there's peace
And
after
in
that.
that aspect,
But they had to basically be the cause of it to make it end.
that makes sense
So,
to me too.
everything they had to go through was their own stupid fault.
Only because had they not gone through it all, Ultimacia would have killed us all.
Or, try breaking the chain.
And how do you break the chain when the only way to stop the destruction of our world is to kill the woman? Okay.
Yeah.
Terrible writing.
Thank you.
It had potential to be a good story had they taken the time to flesh it out. You've
And
got
maybe cut out the last, third?
Okay, I
Well,
can give you
no.
the third.
parts of that were good, like Renoa's sorceress powers and such.
Wow.
Making her a sorceress was kind of cool.
Okay. Except Angel Wing is so broken. I love it.
Yes,
I prefer her
Yeah.
limit break.
Invincible
Because,
Moon?
Angela was
yes,
fun.
Invincible Moon. That's how I beat the
The character herself.
ultimate weapon.
Oh, that.
I had everyone.
Ultima.
Ultima.
Ultima's not too bad.
Oh, sorry, not Ultima. Omega? Whichever.
The last one?
Yeah, what's the hardest one? I forget.
Omega. That's
Yeah,
my
Omega.
HP.
I beat
Yeah.
Omega using that, giving everyone limit breaks and invincibility, and just keep using limit breaks over and over and over.
Oh, so you took the lucky cheap way.
Exactly.
You son of a bitch.
Hey, I never said I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I actually tried to do it
Yeah.
normally. Troll.
Cholo. Ow!
Only thing I have to say. Jump away.
Okay, I'll admit that. I did like the idea of making Renoa into the sorceress. The sorceress's night storyline is really nice. Like it adds a
Yeah.
nice romantic aspect to the story. But the whole Ultimacia thing, cut Ultimacia and the time compression out of the picture and have the game end with Adele.
So, how do we save the world? We destroy it.
Or we save
What kind of plan is that?
or
Seems legit.
Even better.
Yes, it
The
does,
game
because I'm
ends
gonna
with
listen
you
to it.
saving the female protagonist, stopping the sorceress that wishes to enslave her and use her powers to destroy the world, end game. Up until the Ultimacia arc, the story was sound. You're just a mercenary trying to save his girlfriend. Okay, that works!
It was getting a bit iffy later on.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
I
guy
have 3 words.
Hmm.
Junction, machine, alone.
Ow!
And the writing goes to hell, and I think that's when they started drinking.
I should start drinking whatever they had.
I'll admit the story wasn't that great, but it was at least better without Ultimacia.
Okay, let's move on from the story.
All
This
right.
would go way too long.
Uh,
So, battle system.
Not that bad.
Yeah.
Same problem I had with 7. Characters too similar. I enjoyed the limit breaks.
Yeah.
The limit break.
Yeah. Limit breaks were very different. That is something I
It
enjoyed.
was actually very similar to 6. in a way.
I never played 6, so I can't say. But,
Like Zell's and Saban's limit breaks were great.
okay. I'll trust you on that one. So there's that. Let's see.
Okay.
ATB, I was okay with.
Yeah.
Summons, not bad. I mean,
The animations were nice.
Yes,
It'd
they
be
were.
nice to,
Little
if they
long,
cut
but-
it like maybe at the beginning of this spree, instead of getting some summons at the end of, right before the end of the game.
Yeah.
When you get Eden and
Yeah.
Bahamut and
Yeah.
Zero Bahamut and run with
Doom Train?
Yeah,
the Doom Train, you could actually get around this too,
Yeah.
if you really like.
Yeah, be very careful.
Yeah.
But not the whole.
And also, fucking
Although I will say, while Eden's thing is really long, it is nice that they started introducing a damage limit break attack.
Yes.
Eden is the only one that is capable of breaking the 9999 barrier through boost and just powering him.
was not aware of that.
It is the only thing in the game that can break the barrier in a single attack.
Very nice.
Well, the only other thing that I can really say about battles would be referring to equipment.
Oh,
I hated upgrading the weapons. Having to find the exact item you
I
need.
never liked the weapon upgrade system.
That wasn't good.
I never actually, when I was a kid, first playing the game, I didn't even know where to get the materials.
Exactly. I cheated for
Trying to
that.
go for a realistic.
Oh god, I just
Yeah.
remembered something, the little comments on the YouTube video here. One of the most retarded lines
Yeah, hence,
No.
hence the drinking.
ever. Yeah, you're in a prison and Cypher comes up to you asking what the title
They
C-
must be
a mercenary
completely
organization.
matched.
He wants to know what it stands for, and your answer, flower. The true goal of seed is to spread seeds all over the world and fill the world with fuking flowers.
Okay,
You should have
for the
just stabbed
record,
him there. That is end the game. I'd be okay with that at that point.
in my defense, I've already had how many megavolts go through me, and just wanted to fucking piss Cypher off at that point.
Dory!
Here.
So, all in all, even with its imperfections,
Magic I
Even
didn't like.
those imperfections, why don't we go to the junction system and wonder,
Oh, God.
okay, let's bring this up because why the hell not?
Sure.
What the fuck is the difference between the fucking materia and the junction? There is none!
Well, there is like,
No!
how do you get it?
materia could not be equipped specifically to a set attribute.
That's true. It
No,
just,
it changed your attributes by
Yeah.
equipping it.
But you couldn't actually say, here, my attacks are flame-based now because I put it on my weapon.
well, you have to
Yes,
have
you
a
can.
certain materia. There isn't much difference.
Shut up!
I'm not gonna lie. But then again, I hate drawing magic.
Yeah.
But I will not lie, using the, basically refining the magic made it a lot
Okay, that was
easier,
nice.
but
That
also
was good.
is able to break the game real easy very early on.
Put a couple more hours into it? Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the card mod ability. I mean, what?
Yep.
Okay, I will say Triple Triad was a nice addition.
Yes.
That
And
was a
very,
fun card
and
game.
much better than the card gaming now, which was, in my opinion, from
Just
what I saw,
like-
highly overcomplicated
It was just like Triple Triad, but with more cards.
and
Yeah.
slightly overcomplicated from what I was told.
Yeah,
The rule system was different.
the points were kind of wacky, but we'll get into that later.
Okay.
So,
all in all,
what's left? Anything?
cutscenes, characters. Sid makes his reappearance. I don't think we mentioned him in the last game because.
Said Highwind.
Just make me some goddamn tea, woman!
I actually liked his character in that game.
He was an astronaut. No, he wasn't.
No, he was just a pilot.
He was meant to be.
Yeah, and he stopped to save his, that one.
Was that his wife, his assistant?
His wife.
wife?
It wasn't explained until the movies.
Yeah.
Actually, they kind of.
It may have been assistant.
It was wife and assistant. I think they actually said so in it.
In the game, they said his assistant. It was never
It may have-
said that they were actually married.
They may have married later, but again, after game stuff.
He named a model of the Highwind after her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sid Kramer makes his appearance here, married to one of the main villains.
Well, the main villain for most of the game.
Yeah.
Actually, had they made a day of the final villain, I would have been happy with it. Ended with the garden fight, and that game turns out positive.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
And this is why the rage continues.
Yes.
So, final conclusions.
Now,
Cut up disc 4, awesome game.
I wouldn't say awesome.
Great game.
I wouldn't say great.
I know you want
Which one of us is closer?
I would say great.
Good.
I would say
Put it
great,
on
but
the
it's
level of
also the
Final
first one I
Fantasy
was able
VII.
to fully play through. So, like everyone
I
else's
prefer
first, this would
this
be
one
mine.
to 7.
Also, let's not forget, Final Battle. You get 3 random characters. You may not have characters who are well equipped.
So you just don't
Junction.
off.
Why you killed them all off?
Then you're down characters.
Yeah, you equip the 3 that you need and you don't need anymore.
Yeah, just let the others survive.
Yeah, it was a different touch. Good or bad.
Or,
I
you
don't
know, make sure, give everyone a decent amount of junctions and have them fight it out along
Well, anyways, good game. I'll leave it at that.
A lot of potential there that was,
Not fully seen through.
yeah.
And Vanilla's Angel wins.
But on the fact that it was that they made a lot of it also a technological powerhouse.
Yeah.
That might be part
That
of
one
the
thing.
problem with story writing. I've seen it a lot with later games as well. When you get into Final Fantasy 12, you see the story suffers a little
Yeah.
for the sake of an amazing graphical powerhouse. Like the cutscenes in that game are gorgeous, and we'll get to that in a minute.
But the only reason I think I love this one so much is also when I was first able to fully play through it, I was around actually like the same age that the characters in game were, so it made it slightly easier to
And
try and,
I was like 10 when the game came out the first time. So that's what I
but
got.
like I said, actually playing through.
Yeah.
So
That's when I actually got
years,
it.
and I did like the setting at the time, so I'm also basing it off of
Shit.
about 10 years ago.
So I guess it's up to 9 where it's just me.
You want to do it yourself?
I have some comments I can do, but I ain't got the most on this one, bud.
All right. More than happy to. Final Fantasy IX. Pretty good game. My favorite, as I stated earlier. Also, one of the highest rated.
Yeah.
Great
For good
game.
reason.
Oh yeah. Great story. The graphics between the in-game and cutscenes were a lot closer than any other games before. They may have simplified the characterization, well, not characterization, how the characters looked. So then it was less realistic, but they did it so then the graphics.
The graphic
But it ran so much smoother.
transition was flawless.
It
There was
was
no.
very good.
Your system freezes for several seconds to load a CGI cutscene.
Yes. And then it does fall apart in the story in the later parts. I will admit that.
I mean, the love story.
You get a lot
between
further,
Garmin
you can
and
get close to the end
Ram.
before it starts getting.
Once
WTF.
you get, once you get to spoilers, Zidane is basically a doll from another world. So is, yeah,
Yeah.
so is Kuja, who actually has a tail like Zidane, but hides it and dyes his hair.
Ow!
Yeah, and Kuja's angry because he's a doll and doesn't want to be, so he wants to destroy the world.
Ow!
But I will say, I did like the political intrigue where Kuja was the man controlling from the shadows, controlling
Yeah.
the queen in order to get the Aeons.
In other words, it was Seymour and we'll get to that in a minute.
No, even worse.
Ah,
But actually better. Better.
better.
He did it better. Because he wasn't in charge. He had no power other than just influence. He just sweet talked his way.
And another cool thing about the game was the setting was very unique.
It was. I liked the mist aspect because it gave it a scientific type view while using magic. It was good and well thought out. Characters, they went back to using 4 characters again in battle, and
with predestined class.
Yes.
Again.
each with their own abilities, which
Yeah.
they learned through equipping weapons and
Using the damn things.
Yeah, well, no, not using
No,
them,
no.
just winning battles.
That's right.
But that was still fun. It was really
I
interesting.
really
I'm
It's
watching
a
Let's Play
great
and it was
game.
just,
It's great.
If I can ever get a copy of
If
it,
I can ever suggest a Final Fantasy to someone, if they can only play one, I'd say 9.
yeah.
Hands off.
I mean, the
9
earlier
is like
games-
closest to the perfect Final Fantasy in my opinion.
It's the earlier games with the graphical overhaul and a great story.
Exactly.
Actually.
And the main character's a catboy.
Actually, that's a monkey.
Close enough.
Also, no.
Not
No time
yet.
for a biology
It's
lesson.
just,
Worked out.
yeah, just,
He's
technically
a
he's called a gnome, I think.
He's a Saiyan. Say no
Oh,
more.
jeez.
Well, trans, which is basically their form of limit, but
Yeah.
that I didn't like. Because
I don't know how that works.
basically when you took damage, the trans gauge filled. And even if you were just in a random battle and you were hit and you trans, it was gone. Even if the next hit finished the battle.
Trollolo.
Basically pointless.
Though again, trans would probably come up quite often as well.
No, it doesn't. You get trans maybe 4 times in the game. No, let's go with 8 times entirely in the entire game.
Unless
Not
you-
including the scripted battles where you get them.
Even in certain boss fights, the bosses didn't do a lot of damage.
Nope.
Oh, dear Jesus.
It was very rare and hardly mattered. So it was basically a useless thing. Sometimes it was helpful. Sometimes you got them through scripted battles.
Yeah.
Very similar to what they did in 8.
Yes.
In 8, you know,
But again, you saw it working off, so that's how that worked.
Actually, it's more off of 7.
Yeah.
okay, 8 was
Even-
more like 6.
Yeah.
With desperation mode.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of. Because you weren't really low HP possibly. You could have just almost full HP and just have the transgate build.
Yeah.
And like 7, it replaced your attack command.
Well, no, it doesn't.
It
It
just not
replaced
happens.
one of your
What was it?
class skills to something else. Like the Black Mage got to double cast. The main character got some special attacks based on thievery skills. They were just overpowered attacks. Let's see. 2 summoners got summoning, stronger summoning.
Stronger summoning.
Let's see. The knight got sword abilities. I don't remember what. The lancer basically could jump up, stay up for a while, and just throw down lots of lances. Can't remember the monk. Well, he's not really a monk.
Yep.
He's another thief, but he has monk-like skills, so I just call him monk. And yeah, that's all the characters, I believe.
Alright.
So again, nothing great.
Well, easiest thing to see in that one though, if you know any of the history though, so many callbacks.
Oh yeah, tons of callbacks.
Every game.
It was beautiful. It's basically, they had little things in the game that just were there. And
Even they're as simple as Elemental Forums, Magic Shop,
yeah,
and sign.
Oh,
It's
so
just the fact that they
13 makes that reference. Isn't the
They-
town of Palin-Poland.
they have a lot of preferences.
I
like
see
that.
it now. Yeah.
But again, beautiful, great story up until about the last act, but I can forget that. It was literally
It's the
just
last act.
full.
It did come in with a very nice scene though. I did like the assault with the Silver Dragons.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That's probably one of the best things I've seen in
Never
Final
seen it.
Fantasy.
It's perfect. We'll put
Actually,
in
I
a
believe
video
you have cutscene
someday.
Too, that you wanted for the skin too, wasn't it?
Nah, it's good.
Alright.
Sure.
If it comes up, it comes up, but not that one.
Alright.
But
So-
anyways, let's see. Combat, music, I love.
Yeah, the soundtrack for most of these games, even
Yeah.
Steve already mentioned the Battle with the Silver Dragons.
Yeah.
Beautiful song placed at that time.
One of my favorite is actually Hunter's Remix by Black Mages. Of
Oh, the Hunter's Chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was them?
That was Final Fantasy 9.
Oh.
That is.
And Dio.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
I know which one you're.
Follow
That was-
Flamenco or something?
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually the same area of the game. That is one of my favorite parts of the game because it's around disc 2 and the story's just
That's
getting
when
good.
the theater troupe kicks in, pretty much.
No,
No?
no, this is when you're going to the outer continent without mist. But again, story. Let's see. Yeah. Weapons, pretty good. You got synthesis to get stronger weapons. You can just buy more weapons. Accessories, you can make or buy. Both of them great. Carving was a little complex, but once you got the hang of it, it was pretty good.
Sandwich, right?
Yeah.
A couple times there was a Coliseum type thing too.
Oh yes, there is. There were tournaments where you could get rarer cards.
That sounds
Yeah.
actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I need to get a PS1.
A lot easier than
And the copy of
hunting people down in the world trying to find out who actually plays the card game.
Either
Yeah,
that,
that
or
one
murdering
was-
monsters by turning them into cards.
Yes.
Yeah, but to get go on side quests, tracking down.
The Queen of Cards quest, I'll admit, I'll agree with Spoonie, hands down. Absolutely fucking annoying.
Yes. Oh, let's see. Is there anything else I failed to talk about?
On that.
Malganat. Oh, that one was a pain.
For better or
Great.
worse, it's
Yeah.
gotta be mentioned.
Basically, a lot of them were nothing. Some of them just kind of repeated things you already saw going on and just kind of reinforcing what happened. But
Is that where the idea for the studio came in then? Where they got
The Magnet Messenger Network.
yeah, that's exactly where it came from. But you get items from it, and there was a place if you delivered all the letters you could go to. I never did that, I'm not gonna lie. Because you could not miss one letter.
Yeah.
And if you miss that letter,
That's it.
it's just, you're screwed. And
You can't go back.
you can, but it's really hard.
I should have leveled those letters
Some-
out once again, specifically that
Yeah.
time.
So you won't be able to.
But it was an awesome idea.
Yes, it was a great idea. Just didn't work out great, but it went. It was good enough.
It brought up some of the side quests you'd see in, say, 12. Like the
Yeah.
Hunter's quests were really nice. One of the best parts of that. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
And I forgot about the Hunter's Choice associated to it.
Well, on to the next one, I guess.
10?
10.
You got a hand on this one, or you want me to do it?
I've got it.
I'll help out.
About the most I can say on time is I played up to the first 10, and I finished the last two more fights at the end of the game. That is my complete count of the game. With my friend's
Congratulations,
file.
you've seen the best two parts of the game.
Well, I was actually the one for the friend's file. That was pretty intense.
10 wasn't good. Battle system was easy since you could easily freely switch your characters in and out mid-battle.
But
Yeah. So.
Oh, there was a time penalty.
No, they automatically switched,
And
and,
they
then you
same
could use
slot.
that attack.
You're right. Okay.
The story was pretty weak, in my opinion.
True.
Titus was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, so is you.
Yeah.
I was to say, at least I didn't talk to him.
Oh, God, I need to bring up the
Well, there
example
you
here.
go.
No, please, please.
You know exactly what it is, too, don't you?
Ha 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 ha. No. Screw you.
It has to be done.
Screw you. I hope you step on a Lego.
Never
Every-
say that again!
Every step
Only
of your
because
life.
I need to point this out. The fuck? And they do this for 3 full freaking minutes.
Well, it's 1 minute. 1 minute, 12 seconds.
Same difference.
Nonetheless, pointless, annoying.
Thank you!
Nope,
So he's a seagull.
more or less.
Mine?
What was that?
What?
This.
That's the entire scene. Basically, that's
Why?
it.
Why?
Then he gets
He's giving
you
you
up
a
to do the
look.
same
Can't you see
thing. And it's really annoying.
Okay.
And then there's another scene when they're walking out of the temple in, where was that?
Doja?
Kilika, where he just randomly steps down and screams. It's like, was that really necessary?
Of course not. And then Yuna's just an idiot. Oh, I think I'll marry him, or in order to make him stop being a bad person. Yeah, I can change him.
Giggity.
Yeah. That worked out great. Kissing a dead guy. That necrophilia. Spoilers!
Kissing a guy that doesn't exist.
No, he's just dead.
Who?
Seymour?
Oh, Seymour.
What?
He's dead.
Yeah.
Titus doesn't exist.
Yeah, he dies. You kill
Seymour
him.
was dead already.
No, you kill him.
Oh, that last fight thing?
No, you kill him in when he gets Shiva. And then they just don't send him, so he stays around.
It's very similar to what happened to Aaron. Aaron is a nonsense.
Yes. But Arwen was badass.
Yeah.
That he was. That was Jack.
Yeah, basically there's not much I can say beyond that because Spoonie basically said it all and you just watch those and that's basically everything.
And another cool thing about this game.
But there were some
What,
callbacks
Final
with
Boss will
some
kick
of
your
them.
ass?
No, I have no problem.
Jax and his fucking...
Nope.
And actually, it wasn't so much...
Let's not forget you Yevon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's his boss, kill your own summons.
I hate to do this to you guys, but one of the best parts of this
Okay,
game.
I'll give you this. This was
Alright, yeah.
Here you get to see most of the badass parts of this game.
It was beautiful and it had really good sound. I love this. You know.
Because we like talking about music so much. What if
Very different from anything
Rick
else.
Lumasu's best words from
Nice, the
Ice?
entire world.
Yeah. Different from anything else that happened.
And all of the epic music for a game of Blitzball.
And let's all look at that
But look at this!
way. Great music, beautiful cutscene.
But like all of this bullshit for a simple game.
Football.
Speed soccer fanatics.
Thank you, soccer as well.
And you also see Arm for the first time in this season. There he is.
Heavy.
Can't blowing in wind.
Oh, nothing.
Says only one
That
thing.
they're
Badass.
for us to keep it, so then, I don't know, probably.
And your first glimpse of our villain here with Sid.
Yeah, but you still don't technically know who the true villain is with the lens.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
until
right.
you find out that the villain is Yevon. Spoiler alert!
Yeah. Well, big difference. No, big difference.
The whole religion was based around his teaching, wasn't it?
No,
Oh.
it was just a lie.
Good
By the
enough.
way, yes, we do hear Nobuo Uematsu and some of his friends with hard rock officially in the game.
Oh, what about Uematsu's actually on this track?
Yep.
This is still him and his boys.
Well, I mean, I know he composed it. I didn't know he actually performed it. Yeah.
Yep.
He does a lot of people work, especially black people.
Probably one of the most epic reveals for a villain ever.
I don't know, I love Jeff's summon form at the end. That was my favorite.
Never.
How Jeff looks at the end.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, that was badass.
And then I just have to mention this. This world you see destroyed here doesn't fucking exist.
Of course not. Has to be bullshit.
They, throughout most of the game, my biggest problem with this game, throughout most of the game, you're told he was sent into the past.
Well, no, he wasn't sent to the past. he was a dream.
Or no, throughout most of the game they mentioned that that Xenarkin had been destroyed several years ago. It's implied that he's in the future. My apologies.
But then you find out he's just a dream that Sin
Actually,
is
they don't
keeping
even
alive.
explain that.
Yes, they do.
Not that well.
Yeah, they explain that literally. He is just a dream that is being
Projected by Sin.
projected by Sin, being held by
Then
people.
why the fuck did they need to make 10-2 except for the idiots that can't understand?
Fan service!
Why did they dress up?
That is all it is.
Then the fact that there
Fan
were
service,
still
yeah.
some idiots that didn't understand what had happened. That couldn't actually...
That actually had absolutely nothing to do with
A lot of people actually wanted to see what happened to Tennis.
Nothing happened to him.
Can I be one of the exceptions for not knowing what happened, especially considering after that first Sin fight I couldn't save because the disc just wouldn't load ever?
It's fine. Basically,
Actually, yeah.
basically at the end, he just jumps off
I mean,
into the dream and
Whatever,
basically
this was-
he
becomes...
basically goes back home.
He basically becomes separate, more or less. Because
Mhm.
he never really existed.
True.
And then Final Fantasy X-2, you get the perfect ending by getting 100%, doing all the side quests, doing all the bullshit, or just YouTube that shit. He comes back. That's about all
It
there
becomes
is.
reality
Yeah.
somehow.
Now,
Nothing else is that.
I have seen people who actually thought that 10-2 would explain what happened to him. Even,
No.
my perfect example, Alec, always says, no, they never explained it, blah, blah, blah. Did you finish 10? Yes. They didn't explain. Did you finish 10-2? Yes, but they explained it. You just don't fucking
They
understand.
didn't explain it in 10-2. They don't explain how the hell he comes back. He's just fucking
there.
there. It makes more questions. It explains nothing. It is fan service after fan service after stupid characters after more fan
And this
service,
is-
and then what the hell?
Perfect explanation. He becomes her imaginary friend.
She's so delusional. She imagines a boyfriend.
Oh my god, it finally makes sense. She's in a coma the entire game. It's all about
Even
you.
better, she's in a straitjacket.
Same fucking difference. So it's Alice, okay.
Alright.
Or Sucker Punch.
Let's see.
Oh, that movie sucked.
Yes. Let's see, what else?
Fine, for the asshole.
And you know that
for
from...
45 minutes.
You've seen pretty much the entire setup for it.
There's no story.
There's no after the whole silent thing. There is no story. It's just pointless fan service.
Yeah. So it's,
Let's
I gotta say
see.
some of the songs were pretty cool.
Yeah, the
Okay,
songs
yeah. The summoning battles were good
And
because
the
they
story-
summoned and you chose and you actually fought as them
Yeah.
instead of just being a
And I'll
magic
admit, the
pass.
story at the end and beginning was good. It's just, from
You wanted to punch Titus in the face the entire
Well, that
time.
and the fact that the whole journey from Kilika to fucking Gagazet was boring.
It was. And then Titus always yelled, "This is my story. It's my story. My story." Shut up.
My story. Well, and then Aaron says it, but he's a badass.
But Orin is not there to do anything. He is just there as a mentor. So
True.
it's not his story
But
because
the line was, he holds him up. This is your story. He throws him at Sin.
Yes.
That's how the game began.
Yes. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
big thing about it was when he finally fucking realized it's not all about him. And also daddy issues.
True.
Oh god, all the daddy issues.
His whole purpose in life was to kick his father's ass.
That's internet at some point. But
Yeah,
let's see.
so-
I guess promoting our gaming channel.
So anything we're left really to say about it?
Other than the fact that the story between
Oh,
Kilika
got
and
it.
Gagazet sucked.
Here's one. I just thought.
Blitzball.
No. Spear grid.
No!
Here we go.
No, this shit again.
The leveling system in Final Fantasy. Spear grid.
No.
The spear
The
grid.
most annoying thing ever, especially for Kimari. I never used him because he wasn't anything. You had to literally make him into another character. And then, it's just not good.
And
I did enjoy the fact that they got their own abilities, they had their own set path. But what I didn't like is that it changed. Go have fun. And you just start going through other stuff that basically it's the same
Just
thing.
probably because I'm gonna add because you're my new friend now.
You just
Just because you
have more
and I just want
same
to
thing, same abilities, that once you get everything for each character, there's nothing.
everybody else is
Yeah.
It's full.
Pretty much.
There's no levels. You really don't have much, and technically, at one point, all the characters would be exactly the same.
The problem I have with this Spirit Grid,
He's not here because
your argument is still, yeah, I'm just Kamari, I never used him either for that reason. His only power came from, oh, I can absorb monsters.
Lancet, he had Jinx, which lowered his block.
Jinx?
Yeah. And that's pretty much about it. Oh, and Scam. He had Scam. But that's pointless because you could just get X on your weapon. Sensor. So, worthless.
The problem I ran into with the Spirit Grid mostly though, was the way you had to have a certain sphere in your inventory just to activate a specific node. And if you didn't have it, oh look, you can activate this node, that node.
Yeah,
Fuck
that
that.
is annoying.
And they did perfect this system in a later game, and by gods, I'm going to talk about that one when I get there. The Crystarium in 13 finally fixed what was broken and made the Sphere Grid what it should originally have been.
Fair enough. I can't think of anything else to talk of other than
The story side.
football wasn't that great. Sadly, I'm short on time, so I have to leave.
Yeah,
But
he's
a
right.
few quick last words from
See you
me.
later, Steve.
Let's see. Final Fantasy 12. Hated combat. It was didn't really like the story. Good graphics, but hated the garment grid. Well, no, that's 10 too. What was that?
License.
Oh, license. Thank you. License. That was stupid.
And you'll hear some of the positives on my end. Most of the problems I have with that game, right there.
But anyways, let's see.
And
No main character. Took me about Bosch now.
I'll have it in mind. Yes, Bosch, for
But
purposes, I'll talk about
You can
later.
deal with that. So
This one,
basically, that's my quick take on 11 and 13. As you said before, the Crystarium system, definitely a much better version. I enjoyed it. Combat, it's mostly switching between what roles you have.
yeah, the
Not
combat
really
is a lot
choosing.
more dynamic, and it's a lot more fun. Later parts of the game, you actually can give certain characters paradigms that they don't have access to,
Yes.
but they have to start at level 0.
And it's different.
Oh, you just didn't get to that part?
I've been getting there as well. But again, I haven't gotten very far in the game, so I can't have a very strong decision on it story-wise, character-wise, so I can't really say much for that.
Well, one
But
more
with
thing
that,
to go.
goodbye, possibly be around on another video.
If we ever start talking Doctor Who.
Oh, I'll definitely throw something.
Yes. All right.
I wanna
that
be
was
involved
Final
in that
Fantasy
one.
VII.
Eric.
Now, here, sadly, is where I have to put up a quick disclosure here. One, I may say some things some people may agree with, mostly pertaining to the main character of the next game. I'll try not to be too offensive about it, but quite frankly, Vaughn appears to be a flaming fruit for most of the game. If you don't agree with me,
True.
listen to the voice, look at the way he dresses, and tell me he doesn't belong on an episode of Queer Eye. And with that said, I do feel a little bit of housekeeping is in order here. Before I talk about the game itself, I need to talk a little bit more about the story surrounding it. Evil Ace as a whole setting was probably the biggest draw to 12 in my opinion. Final Fantasy Tactics introduced the world of Evil Ace to some extent, though the Viera and Banga were not added until Tactics Advanced several years later. the bunny-eared Viera, the lizardmen, Donga, the Mughals finally make their main appearance. Yay!
It's only been 6 games.
With the adorable addition of Mont Blanc, he was probably one of my favorite characters in that game. As well as a few others, the Viera in general were just an amazing addition. And the world of Evil East, with the hunters, guilds, and the different warring factions, was a really great idea. Your side quests weren't just go here, find some random item that means nothing to the story. No. You're a bounty hunter. Go kill a critter. Come back. We give you money. Simple. To the point. And quite frankly, one of the better settings. And very challenging, yes. Now with that in mind, we get into the meat and bare bones of the story here. Final Fantasy 12.
I'm seeing a lot of similarities to 2.
Similar, but not quite.
Evil Empire, not as evil as in 2, but...
I haven't gotten to the end, but apparently Vayne is a malicious son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
So...
Easy to tell.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. That opening speech, he sounds all high and mighty and very friendly. And then he tries to kill you all.
Yeah, but he also works for the Empire. There we go. There we go.
No. He doesn't just work for the Empire. He's the Emperor's son.
All the more reason to have no trust.
So, the story. The game opens with the treaty to be signed between the Empire of Arcades and the Kingdom of Dalmasca. And I apologize for sitting in front of the screen here, but fuck it.
You don't need it.
I'm bored. And I just like sitting in front of the camera because I'm tired of moving around. So, quite frankly, the opening is probably one of the best scenes in the game, mostly for storytelling purposes. You see our main character's brother, Rex. Was it Rex?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
Rex.
right.
Okay.
R-E-C-K-S.
Okay, and Balthier von Ronsenberg. Or Bosch von Ronsenberg, my apologies, not Balthier. Balthier's different character. Bosch von Ronsenberg, the captain of the Dalmascan Guard, one of the captains of Dalmascan Guard, but you won't learn that till later, going to stop his king from signing the treaty that would seal his country's fate. Only to be betrayed by a man he thought he could trust. His own brother, Gabranth. Of course, once again, you don't learn this until halfway through the fucking game and have no idea what's going on. Yay! Tension! And it actually works in this game. By the time you meet Bosch, he has been branded a traitor by his own twin brother. There we go. Now they're finally starting to cover their tracks and make it make sense. First time you meet the character, you want to rip his fucking throat out. I mean, at that point, I knew he was going to be a main character. Why the fuck not? He's amazing. But, once again, Vaughn wants to kill this son of a bitch for sending his brother to his grave. Okay? And then you meet the princess. Dear gods, I'm fairly certain Lightning was a mixture between Ashelia and Cloud if they just got together and started making babies. Pretty much. Hey, come on! Like, she's got Ash's attitude and Cloud's soldier history.
Yeah.
And the appearance is very similar! Other than that, the story was really good. You've got the political intrigue, the war again from 8, put together. Really good story. Meshes well. High tech. They do more of a Mistapunk thing like they did in 6. Very nicely done. And then, once again, Evil East comes into play. You've got the Bonga, the Viada, the Mughals, and so much more. The Chocobos, yay. Though the world is more expansive in a way, it feels kind of like an MMO.
That was enough of that.
No.
What were the people who looked like upright Eeyores?
Huh?
The people who looked like upright Eeyores, the ones that were normally magic based.
Oh, they didn't appear in 12. I forget what they called them.
That's like, wait,
my
wasn't there another
knowledge
race?
is stretched thin at this
Yeah, in
point.
advance there was a race that looked like a giant dog. Miguelo, they never actually tell you, to my knowledge.
I really
In
don't
12,
remember.
it's never mentioned. In advanced, I know they make an appearance, but once again, I've never, to my knowledge, seen them named outright in the actual Kanan series. I just mentioned Evilise because, quite frankly, I like the setting.
Ulysses Alliance is best alliance.
But the Vieira, the Banga, and quite frankly, the airships were freaking amazing. And then you add the Sky Pirate, Balthier, and El Cid, his father. And your main villain for part of the game. Not main villain, but you fight him at some point.
Yeah.
Apparently, Balthier and his father have some issues.
Daddy issues in a Final Fantasy game.
Look
What do we
at
do?